Okay, we
Mm,
are live.
good.
All right. So, Eric, um,
Yeah.
we've had a few weeks off, um, and I guess the challenge for us now is whether we can actually make sense of what we were doing last time. So we did
Yep.
it. We did a few little tests, didn't we, last time?
Yeah, we did.
Of one of the
We
of
had.
one of the things.
Yep. So this was basically just making sure that stuff is working.
Right.
And I think one of the things that I remember us doing was that we separated the handler into two functions. One which is one which only sort of sets up a timestamp and passes the
That's
database,
right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so that we have this one where we're free to set our own timestamp and our own database. And
Yeah.
that
So
makes
it's a
it for,
bit more like, a bit purer in that sense that
yeah,
in our case, the database is really essentially just an atom with a map.
yeah. So
So that's
now
really good.
we can test our handler star with the
Mm.
empty URI and with a DB of our choosing. And then we see that we get to like we actually get to render some stuff. And then
Yeah.
because what happens is that if we have a blank URI, we end up here in our else clause and we render the home page, which is
Yeah,
what
I
we're
think the other
seeing.
nice thing about it is that I think last time actually we introduced this data content thing as well.
Yeah, because we stuck a render function here, which basically knows how to render the various stuff that we can return.
Yep, 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 yep.
And what that does is, so we also then needed to write a test just to see that the handler works, right? If we actually get some HTTP, or sorry, some HTML
Some
back.
HTML. Yeah,
So
yeah.
if we trust this one, then we can continue trusting, and then we can continue testing on this where we skip the render step.
Mm, mm,
And the reason
yeah.
we did that is that it's so much easier to deal in hiccup than it is to deal with HTML strings.
Hmm. This has got some limits though, obviously, but yeah, it's a good first start, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you say,
So,
it gives us it gives us confidence that we're going to get something back. If not,
yeah.
uh, we'll get more complicated as time goes by. But yeah, already pretty good. So
So I
okay,
mean,
that's the refresher. Um, so I think we've got a little. We made a promise to ourselves that we'd have a look at these to dos. I
yep,
think that's a good way of keeping ourselves, without having to go over to Jira. We can see what's next on our list.
yep. And we can also look at how this in a way drives our refactoring efforts because I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
already now see that there is um, some stuff that will make it harder for us to write tests.
Okay,
Yeah.
give me the skinny mate. What is it?
So
What have you observed?
what have I observed? Let's say that we wanted to write a test for reset token. Should we do that?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we say that if we have a URI that is reset token, we will render some stuff,
Hmm.
right? So if we go back to here and we can say um, test reset token, and let's just say is equal to something.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, SUT handler, and SUT is for structure under test. That sounds very sort of object-oriented, kind of 1995-ish, but or maybe 2000-ish, but that's how it is.
I
Um,
sort of call it system under test because
System. Okay, system or structure. Yeah.
I like system because it doesn't sort of imply any structure actually.
Let's see. So we said we were going to do it for reset token.
Yeah.
Let's see what this gives us. Should gives us, aha. It gives us a future dot get because foot is null.
Right. That doesn't sound good.
And if we go over here and we look at oh, so we didn't pass a database. That's good. Um,
We have to do a few things, don't we? We have to.
and let's just see what this brings because I think reset token probably has to do with users, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
This is like almost like an inverse test-driven development. It's like I'm writing the figuring how to write the test based on what our code is,
That's the
rather than
normal way.
figuring
That's the
out how
normal way
to
to
write
write the.
our
It's the normal way to write the test, in my opinion.
ah. You should have
What?
seen this.
So why don't we have a look at what? Yeah. Okay.
This is why we pair program, right?
Well, I was going to say let's have a look at what the what it expects, but okay. Yeah.
This is good. In a way,
This is
this is
exactly. This
actually
is perfect. In fact,
this is
that's a test passing right there.
yeah, it is. So let's just format this a little bit, and we can say testing some no authenticated user, right?
Yep. 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 Yep.
That sounds reasonable.
Yep.
Um, and now I think we're going to get to somewhere.
But I think we should also have no authenticated user where there is something in the user database.
Okay.
So it can be no authenticated user without users, and then this one is with a user. You know.
So that also worked.
Yeah, that's good.
Now,
Now we can set one, like you say, with how about one where you're passing token 2 or something, you know?
yes, and how do we do that?
So that's the problem
Because
because it's a post, isn't it?
hey?
It's in the post, so it's in the request.
Yes, but the interesting bit is that we're pulling this out of the request at this point in time,
Right, right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is
Too late,
somewhat
way too
annoying.
late.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we would rather have like it would be much nicer if we could say form params.
Well, it would be much nicer if we could just say email, actually.
That's even better. But let's start with this one.
Fine.
Um, and then we could, let's oink, remove that. And we don't want to do it inside here because that's basically the same problem. So we would have to do it
Mm. See, the thing is, often the
here.
form params will be empty.
Sure.
So I don't want to do it there either. This comes back to something else where we what would be really nice, apropos something else we've discussed, is that wouldn't it be nice if the page itself could declare what data it wanted? Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be nice.
But I would, so let's just if we did this, right? Then
ASOC what? You have to ASOC something, don't you? Like form params,
yeah,
I
but
suppose.
this
Okay.
this one returns a request. So it takes a request and it associates form params onto that request.
Ah, yeah. Okay, okay. That makes sense.
And
Yes.
then
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
associate
Yeah.
timestamp and DB on it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Um,
It's kind of a whack way of doing it, but okay, fair enough. I see what you're doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then of course
If it's
sometimes
not
there
there, if
won't
it's
be
not
any.
there, it doesn't do any harm, and if it is there, then I mean, we can end up with a lot of these things. But okay,
Yeah,
as a sort of temporary sticking plaster, fair enough.
just see if that's interesting because now I did something wrong, obviously.
Is token three? You've got it as a string in one,
Ah,
but
I know something else that I probably did. Um, didn't do. Uh, we're here, here, and let's evaluate that one as well. Because
okay, okay,
now we get the form param, and we also need to get the user. Aha, because we have user authenticate of email of this stuff.
right, right,
And we can't have any of this anymore because we have form params here.
right.
So we can take this away. Um, and let's just have a look at user authenticate. Yeah, so it takes a token and an email. So now if I've evaluated everything correctly,
I think it's still going to fail because you've got It's still going to pass. I mean, because your
yeah, but
token is
we
the
shouldn't
wrong
have,
type. I think.
eh?
Your
Ah,
token is a
it's,
string, and then it's not a string. So it has to either be a
ooh,
string or not a
yeah.
string, I think. Okay,
Excellent.
yeah.
So, um,
Yeah,
and this
that's
is interesting because, oh,
yeah, that token is not going to be quite right, but it could be your token is percent whatever, can be,
yeah, but
you
I
can do a,
think let's just
or because the
user
next time around it's not going to be three, you mean? No,
user
it's okay
time will
actually.
be 3 at this point in time. That's interesting.
Ah, okay.
Because it shouldn't, because let's see. Um, so it should take, timestamp should be,
Should be
Ah,
timestamp.
because timestamp is and
It's outside.
that's
So it's db. You can put timestamp.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Form params.
That's why we
Let's
pair program, mate. It's okay.
is 3.
Hmm.
So now it failed
Yeah, but it's
because we
reproducible. Yeah.
get a new token and
Yeah.
actual is like this.
Hmm. And then theoretically,
And
when we run it again, it should be correct.
hang on. Yes.
Yes. Nice.
So now this is actually quite cool, right? Because we set up with this with having the timestamp outside. We set this up quite some
Yes.
time
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah. Yeah. This is very nice. The fact that we can put all of the co-effects in data is really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a win.
Yes. It was a big. I mean, this is like, yeah, this is something I've been banging on about for a little while. Um, but yeah, nice to see it on the internet. So that's good. Yeah,
Yes, come to fruition, as they say.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But one thing that is worrying me now um, is that what did we do? We put the associate form params over here now,
Hmm.
which means that we can get rid of them in several places,
Hmm.
which is actually quite nice. Um, but we also need to put this one in place.
Yes, yes.
Um, right, because this one associates multi-part params on the request as well.
Yeah. Isn't this? I mean, without being weird about it, but isn't this the sort of like we're doing what middleware does essentially?
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, exactly. But
So we're
I
we're doing it
must,
like ad hoc essentially, rather than
yes,
with this middleware DSL.
something like this. And to like, you could argue like we could have had a with DB middleware and a with timestamp middleware and a with multi-part middleware and a with form params middleware.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, for me, I'd move this ASOC underneath the arrow so that so it's a bit more obvious what's going on.
The assoc under the arrow.
Yeah, so like the arrow gets past the request, blah 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 blah, and then the resulting request we have an ASOC on top of it.
So sorry, I'm not
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that reads a bit easier to me.
yeah. So we take the request, we associate the form params, and then we
Yeah,
associate the multi-part params, and then um, we
yeah,
associate the timestamp in the DB.
yeah.
Yeah, cool. Whoa. What was this about?
I think that's because we don't have the DB in the top level,
Yeah.
which we do
Yep.
now. Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, I'm still not quite confident on writing a test for handle upload.
Well, I think you're right. I think this is the sort of let's say the elephant in the room handle upload,
Yep.
because there's a lot of stuff going on. Obviously,
Yep.
it's doing this transaction on a database, it's doing this file copy, so there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
One thing that one thing that we could do here, at least, is make, let's say, I mean, by the way, I'm okay with the idea of writing things to temporary files and all this kind of stuff, but I feel like the destination should be something which is a function, essentially,
Yeah, and it should like
and also the temp file is something which is, I think, if I'm not wrong, that's something from the multi-part params. Yeah, it
it
is. Yeah.
is. It is.
Um, and
But
that
I
can
mean,
that can again be something that we can construct, because all it is just it's just a sort of a document that
yeah,
is
yeah.
like,
That's like we're all set up to sort of have the co-effects if you want
yes, yes,
here now because we can get the content type of the file which we have here.
yeah,
Um, we can get the title is fine, and we have everything. What's a little bit annoying with this also is that um, you could imagine that you had a uh, config here
sure, yeah.
where you would say
You know what the path is, yeah,
resource path
yeah,
of the config.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Right? So then, and then we had a dash, something like this.
I think if you go back though, you have something slightly different there, don't you? What was it? Content dash. You have this ID. Yeah, okay, that's it. Yeah, okay.
Or like
I mean,
maybe the
we,
resource
we can
path.
get more sophisticated with that, but that's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
But actually having it as a config path is a resource path is quite good.
yeah. But
Because it,
we can it what let's try to write a test for this and see where it gets us.
yeah, sure, sure.
Should we do that?
Let's do it.
Because I think it will it won't be exactly test-driven development because we have developed it already, but I think it's a test-driven refactor.
It's a test-driven refactor. I mean, because I think there's a whole bunch of things going on here. There's at least three things going on here that shouldn't be going on here. Like, next ID should not be something that this thing does, because that's definitely very side affecting. So that's already a bit, that makes me, that's always made me a bit nervous. Then you've got this, like you say, writing of the file, and then you've got this transacting on the database. So definitely at least three or four things that are going to make it hard to test.
Yeah, because I'm not too worried about the database. But let's see. And let's just start with I we've sort of learned that we need a DB, right? So we don't
Yeah, I
um
don't think there's any point in kind of, yeah,
trying to do this without a DB.
no. And I think this is on the content
And
side, isn't it?
hey,
This is on the
we need
content
a
side.
user
We need a user, yeah.
with let's just bring in this one. And of course, here's where we can clean up a little bit because this gets sort of tedious to write this out all the time. So you could like have a default
Yeah,
database or
default DB.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe we will also need content now, but that should be just an empty vector.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we do a suit handler star with a URI of something, and we have a DB with a DB and a timestamp of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just see what the URI needs to be. That would be we're handle upload, right? Uh, yeah, so that's upload content.
Upload content. Yeah.
Ah, oh no, that's good.
Unauthenticated. Yeah.
Did I copy? Yay.
All right, that's nice. That's
Yep.
nice. As
Eh?
accidental test written there.
Yes. But hey, it's important, right?
We'll take it. We'll take it. Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah. We want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
handle that case for sure. Yeah.
Um, what's also interesting is like here we handle unauthenticated by doing a redirect, and then in the reset token, we're saying you're cheating with a proper message,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. I think
But
that's
let's
because
not
this is
worry
like
about
a
that.
post after a redirect, but yeah, we should probably unify that at some point. Maybe so you can just put a little to do there to say, a little notice that seems a bit weird.
Yeah, let's do that at the end. We'll try to remember that.
Well, okay.
So we don't want to have that if we have a user which is ID 1
Email.
email. Let's see if that's sufficient. No.
Unauthenticated. You need a token, don't you?
Yes. But that's on that's no, hang on.
We need
Because
it
let me
when we
just
need it when we upload content as well. Remember.
yeah, but if we look at yeah, yeah, you're right. So we need that on the request in
Mm-hmm.
form params. But yeah, because we do the user there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
My
think we can
bad.
just do that. Yeah.
Of course, we could have form params. And
3
token 3.
for some reason. Well, I mean, look at what you've got in the database. That's a clue. Yeah.
Yes. Interesting.
What have we got in the reset one?
Okay.
In the reset, the one that passes, what's it look like? form
Reset.
params, email, da 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 da.
This is interesting because let's there's weird stuff here. There's definitely some weird stuff here. Ah, this is good.
Right, right, okay. Yeah, now we're getting some stuff.
So
Yeah.
what happens now is that let's do handle upload. Right? Because it says I like we cannot do IO copy on
Null
this
value, yeah.
null value thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess we know that this comes from the multi-part params.
We do, yeah.
So we can go back here and we can say that's the form params. Should we just like break these lines a little bit?
I think that's a super idea, yeah.
So we have the form params and then, yes, multi-part, was it params?
Yeah,
Multi-part params,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And there should be a stirs, so there should be a file here.
Yeah.
And that should contain a temp file, which
I think that's actually, yeah, that's it, yeah.
let's see where this gets us.
Yeah, it's going to fail again, obviously, because of the fact that that's like a non-existent file.
Ooh. Class, Java long. So, you want to say anything about error messages or something?
I mean, it can't be classed to a function. I mean, it's right, it's correct.
Yeah, it's because I forgot the dot there, I guess. Yes. Yep. No such file or directory.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, you know that Java has facilities to create temp files?
did not.
Yes. It's not part of java.io, but Java itself has that capability.
Do you
And
have a thing ready for us?
no, but we can find it. It will be pretty simple. Yeah.
For 10 years ago,
File dot create
Java,
temp file. That's what it is. Yeah.
what does is that where does files live?
I think files is in. I want to say util. Oh no, Java NIO file files. There it is. Yeah.
Java NIO files
File
dot
files. File files. Slash
create.
create temp file. I would do that. You have to do a dot again, I think, on that one. Oh no, you don't. No, it's
Hey,
that's a static thing. Yeah, that's okay.
what am I missing then? Because it says, it's not a the method. It's another. Uh, it's like it can't just. Okay, so there is a null, nil, nil, and then an optional. Let's see if this works.
You have to just do an empty array, I think.
Ah, there you
Oh
go.
fuck! You have to have
So
a you
it
have to have array, don't you? Yeah.
two array is that thing?
You can just say array, and I think that produces an empty array. Well, no, not like that, but
Like that?
yeah.
Nope.
Oh, is it arrays? Arrays?
No.
No. Hmm.
Hmm. So you need to have an array of
It says
this
optional,
graph.
for God's sake.
Yes. Where are we? It well, it shouldn't have to be there.
Well, just get rid of it, and maybe that's the thing. No matching
So
finding two. Is it? What is this thing?
you
Maybe
need
you
to
have to
help me here,
import it
Ray.
or something.
No.
No.
Uh, Great temp file. So do I need to make like an array of
Oh, it's this thing, isn't it? Because it's a what do you call it? It's a varargs thing.
yeah.
Oh God, I can't. I honestly, I always have to look up how to do that. To be honest, there's some weird thing where you've got to. Well, maybe it's just that's good enough. Yeah.
Thing.
Cannot read because. Yeah, I think
Uh,
there is. If you look at the Java interop thing, there's something about this you have to do.
you
Close the
have to
Java
look that up
interop. Let me
then.
have a quick look
Yeah.
while we're. I'm sure the people shouting at the screen here, saying, "Ah, you idiots!" Yeah. Hmm. You can just say into array, uh, or like you did actually. You just did arrays, didn't you? To array. To array collection should be fine.
Yeah, but we need to do it can't be an object array. It has to be typed with the file attributes.
Uh, I thought that wasn't true because it doesn't know about them. There's no such information at runtime about that. They're all just
Oh,
objects.
someone um but this clearly shows what a mess we're in.
Yes.
But this, haha, I made it work.
Well, not quite, but okay.
Well, it does, because that's what we're expecting when we upload. We go back to slash. So what's interesting to have a look at though is there's more stuff to assert now while you're figuring that out. Um,
I don't. That definitely didn't work. That's for sure.
oh, it did. Um,
Well, it didn't, but
you see, we actually got one. See, we sent in an empty database with no content in it,
yeah.
and now we're getting content.
Oh, I see. Yeah, this what you've just done there with redefs. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then if we go and have a look at main again, um, we need to
Yeah.
have
That's
an
by
a
the way. I
mul
think this is okay. What you're doing there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It-
I'm thinking that's fine. Yeah.
So we have in the multi-part params we need a title,
Hmm.
and we need a file name. We got that, and we need a content type,
Content type. Yeah.
which is from here. Um, text
I think it's
HTML.
yeah. I was going to say it's like media, isn't it? Or it's like
Yeah, we just want to see that we
oh yeah,
get
yeah. Sure, sure, sure. Yeah.
so oh, there we go.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. And
Still feels like we're doing it wrong, but you know we've got a test passing.
we got a
That's
test
kind of
passing.
like the dangerous thing about passing tests is it doesn't actually prove that you're doing it right.
No, but I wanna one thing that's like there's some stuff to be happy about here. And then there's some stuff to talk nice about closure here.
Yeah, that's true.
Is
Yeah,
that um the with redefs.
it's a killer feature. It's absolutely killer. Yeah,
Right. Imagine this in Java. You would have to, and you could argue that that's probably what you should have done is that you should have passed this thing here in as you should have passed the thing that does the copy in as a parameter, right? So you had access to your file copy thingamajigger, and then you could write a mock of that thing and blah.
sure, sure.
Which we didn't have to do because we could just redefine it. And of course, I wrote a slightly naive mock of it here. We could have, what you could do here is, let's do that before we end this. right? Um, right?
Okay.
And then, ah, didn't, isn't this? No, sorry. That was wrong. We didn't want that there. We want to do there.
Oh yeah,
And this is reset.
with a bang. Yeah, yeah. With a
Yes.
bang, the bang, bang.
And then, there you go. So now we have like, there's at least a little bit of confidence in what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, it is actually kind of proving that a file is being produced. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's empty, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So now we're free to start to mess around with the implementation of how to handle upload content because we're not. One thing that annoys me a little bit is that if we figured out that we didn't want to use, like we're looking into the implementation quite a bit here because um, we sort of know that we're using IO copy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
So if
yeah.
we refactored this to not use IO copy, then we would have to rewrite the test.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. If we
But
wanted to do
otherwise,
this this nice thing where we're passing in more functions and all this kind of stuff, yeah. This is the whole thing about, making a more pure function, isn't it? Is
yep.
that we don't want to have all these side effects.
Yeah, but if you look at the level that we're testing on, like when we're done handling this URI, we want these side effects to have happened.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think at a certain point, yeah, I think the question is whether or not you want to have some, like, we want to we want to be able to say, for example, that for me, I would like to be able to test this separately from having an authenticated user. Yeah. Um, but that's something else. That's where we've constructed things right now. So that's
Yeah.
okay. But the other thing is that I feel like it would be nice to be able to like have a dry run almost, like in a pure functional sense, where we can say, okay, what are the side effects that are wanted here, rather than, as well as did the side effects actually happen? Because
Mm.
because in fact, one side effect did happen in the sense that the database was updated, but the other side effect of uploading, like making a file and putting content somewhere, didn't happen really.
No, it didn't
Because there was
really
no
happen.
content, in fact. And if you, again, if you, as you kind of like, I think normally you would like maybe reject empty files and this kind of stuff. You can imagine those kind of things that we'd like to fix for.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah. So I think there's definitely some things to love, like the fact that we can do these with redefs. It gives us a lot of power. Um, but also I think it is pointing to some extent, like you said, that we're having to know a bit too much about the implementation.
Yeah. And to your point as well, right? We're sort of, well, yeah. No, I'm sort of happy with this because I trust IO copy. So as long as I have a good feeling that IO copy is called in the right way, which I sort of get here, then I'm trusting it to, like, um, if TMP file actually were a file, then it would do the right thing. Because now it's not in a way or something. But anyways, I'm actually
Yeah.
quite happy that this went as well as it did.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're proving that the thing does hold together. That's
Yeah.
nice. You know, um,
Um,
I
this
think that.
is
Go
yeah.
on.
No, it's what's interesting to do now is if we go here and let's do this, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And then we go back here and we run this test and we see that now it fails.
Hmm.
This is I don't know if you remember this guy, but he used to be Jan Stepien, I think his name is. He used to be a part of the Clojure community.
Okay. Don't remember.
No, but he wrote this library for what was called mutation testing, I think.
Yes, I know the thing. Yeah.
So basically, you fuck around with the system under test. You rewrite the system under test, and you run the tests repeatedly, and then you see if the tests are failing or not.
Yes. Yes. So in other words, if your function is changed, then your test should fail, and if they don't, your tests are wrong. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
or not sufficiently testing.
yes, they're not following all the right code paths. Yes.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, I, I, I get it, but also I feel like it's, I don't know, it feels like a bit of a game in some ways, you know?
yeah,
Um, to me, it's much safer to me if you can make it such that your functions, especially these, I think these kind of functions, um, if we can make them less side effecty, it's good, you know?
yeah,
Uh, I'd quite like to separate this out into two functions, like I say, so we can have more things that are declarative,
yeah.
and then
Let's do
something which
that.
does the actual effect, you know.
What's interesting now is that now I feel quite confident doing it because
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah,
have this
yeah,
test that sort of it's sort of an integration test, even though it doesn't
yeah.
actually go to the file system and check that we got what we needed or that stuff was written to the file system. But for me, it's close enough.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, it's definitely
So
close
we
enough.
can
Yeah,
muck around with this and re-implement it any way we want because we now have the test to sort of prove that it works.
it worked at one point. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, it does behave in the way that we want. I think we might want to change the way it behaves, but at least we can do that. Yeah, maybe it's next time because I think we're
yeah.
coming up to the hour now.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so the other thing that what else have we got to do in terms of handlers then, just to sort of wrap this one up?
So we did handle upload. Let's go look at our router.
Sign up,
Sign up, and just
upload,
yeah,
upload
reset token
bid.
we've done.
Yeah.
handle upload we done, and yeah, it's also these guys. I don't know if we did them. Maybe they should be done as
Maybe
well.
it's the sign up one. I think that could be one for us.
Yeah, but I think this one is interesting.
Sure.
It
Yeah.
should be fairly easy. Um,
Yes,
Hang
definitely.
on.
It should be quite easy. Yeah.
But it just needs to check that. So it's basically checking that we get the right content type out.
Hmm.
And there's some streaming stuff that's if we go and look at um, yeah, because we don't this is really nice. Um, we there's some yeah, I think there's some stuff we don't have to worry about, which is really, really good. This is actually a function that could have been interesting to test in a like as a unit testy kind of thing.
Yeah. 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 It's true. Yeah.
Because
Just
here
to make
we
sure
yeah,
all the kind of conditions are like legitimate. Yeah.
yes. But let's leave that to next time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look at our to-do list then, just to see what we've got on the roster.
Yeah, so well, we still have to do test sign up because we didn't do that, but we
Okay,
did
we did the
upload
authentication,
and
yeah,
yeah,
and reset
and then
token, so that's
review the
good.
handlers. We have sort of done that because we've moved um some of the form like we moved the form param stuff way out.
Yep, yeah, yeah, and I think that was a nice thing to have that middleware threaded through, so that was a good improvement.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
nice. Yeah, so I think we can throw away the review the handlers um, for the
Oh yeah,
moment,
yeah.
and
Um
then next time we do the test handle sign up.
yeah, and I also want to do test content, I guess.
The render one, I mean,
This one.
yeah.
And
You're having some weird shit going on here.
yeah, it's I haven't managed to turn off Copilot correctly.
Oh, I see.
Or something like that. Yep.
You welcome our overlords, obviously.
Let me this is interesting. We did do handle reset token, right? I mean,
That's what we did. Yeah.
yeah, let's because I just saw something that I didn't like. Right. And that's how because
Ah.
and then we could actually no use of doing that unless we're here like that. Agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the best thing now is that we can go here and we can do, and it still works.
Just one small maybe this is like code. Uh, what should we say? A code style thing. But if we go back to that little bit of code we had, I
Yeah.
would tend to say like when let email.
Yeah, but we need the user, right?
Yeah, but if we say when let email user, then we get rid of that top one.
Oops. Yeah. That's sort of I will let you get this one, but
You would,
I would strongly oppose it.
would you?
Yes, because as it were previously, we would only be doing this if we had a user. So it was when user, whereas now we're sort of when the user has an email is when we're doing this. So the test previously was whether we had a user or not. Now the test is whether that user has an email. So it, like when I read the code, it reads a little bit different.
Um, sure, although I think this is correct. But
It is correct. Yes, it works because you can do like you can take the email of a nil and get a nil back. But to
yes,
me, this reads like if the user has an email.
but that is exactly what we want to know.
Mm, no, because we want to know that there was a user, otherwise you're not authenticated to do this.
Um, to me, that's like I'm kind of like I'd say that's an indirect way of looking at things, but okay, yeah.
Yeah. But
Uh,
I will say the same about yours, and I'll give you
yeah,
this
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. I think this is just like a more expressive way of getting the answer more directly. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, it could work either way. I
Yeah.
would tend to do it this way, but
Yeah.
um, either way would actually be correct, of course. It just
Yes.
that's why I said it's a kind of code style issue. This is what I
Yeah.
would tend to do, but
This is what this is bike shedding, isn't it?
oh god, yeah, this is the kind of bullshit that we shouldn't really be bothering
Yeah.
our friends with. Yeah, sorry about that.
Cool.
Okay, good. Right, well, thanks a
Yeah.
lot, Eric. I think this has been
Thank
fun.
you. Oh, I think
Um,
one more thing
oh yeah,
we
yeah.
can look at is clean up test code.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just because there's a lot of repetition and boilerplate there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's actually if we look at there's a lot of uh, there's a lot of noise to the signal,
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and we were talking about let's yeah. So we were talking about before we started about two good friends of mine, Magnar and Christian, two Norwegian closure developers
Magnar,
who've
he's a great guy for sure. Yeah,
been on both Closure Stream podcast and on Defen.
yeah. Christian,
Um,
both top guys. Yeah,
yes,
doing great
and
work in the Norwegian government.
yeah, they are. It's and actually they went from working as consultants slash contractors, and then actually took a pay cut to be able to work in the government with
Mm.
like their preferred technology and their preferred way of working. So I think that's a beautiful story.
I mean,
Um,
it's very really good. It's inspiring, actually. Got to say.
yeah. Where am I getting with this? So yeah, so Magnar was on Closure Stream and talked about imperative shell functional core. Go listen to that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Christian was at the same place and talked about his new front-end rendering library replicant.
yes. And both of
But
these
one of the th
technologies are super interesting for us here. Yeah.
yeah, but Christian has another library which would be useful here, which is sort of you can navigate hiccup like you would do with CSS selectors.
Okay.
So rather than like writing HTML head body div, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
You
Okay.
can navigate
Yeah.
down to it
Yeah. Right. Right.
because we're not really interested in
The path. We just want to specify the path essentially. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The query. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Well, that would be pretty good. Yeah. Um, I think again, I'm kind of like nervous about taking dependencies at this point, unless
Mm.
there's a lot of benefit. I think for something like this, I wouldn't bother.
Yep.
since it's just a test. But it's definitely worth knowing at some point, that it's there. Yeah.
Yep.
Because I can imagine as time goes past, this is going to become more complicated.
Yes.
But
And there
obviously,
is like
for us at the moment, you can like we were talking about, you can essentially say, oh, like this, you're cheating. That can just be a let, and then we can just like and the user can just be a def,
yep.
and when we can do a little bit of like code golfing to reduce the amount of blob we've got going on in the actual
Yep.
tests,
Yep.
because that
And I
I agree
mean
with you. The
all of
signal to noise is way too high right now. Yeah,
yeah, because I mean all of this
way
all
too
of
low. I
them
mean,
start with this stuff, right? So
yeah, yeah,
you can
yeah.
have a function that produces that and then pass whatever you're interested in as a parameter.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Good.
Right. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's
You
let's
press
call
your
it a day.
button. Yeah.
I'll pop over to this thing and we'll go into end the stream. Okay. Thanks
Hmm.
very much.
Yeah, this worked out. This was quite a bit easier than I was expecting.
I haven't ended the stream yet.
Oh.
It's fine. It's good.